a few of generator. Even if
good afternoon.
It wasn't available. He came, like he said, he came to the Senate.
My name
Why would
is
it take him
coming to you
to just take a walk from the Senate
from the chambers
to the office of the clerk or the speaker or any of the officials of this floor to inform us of the issues or situation he was encountered with? And another thing is this. If you also have telephone numbers or just a technological word, let me put it that way. In this age, in this modern age, there are many mediums in which communications are disseminated. If you cannot print a letter, the Minister of Justice could have communicated with the office of the speaker or the clerk to inform them of this situation, either by SMS, WhatsApp, or any other medium. There are several mediums. But Mr. Speaker, in my mind, to always protect our witnesses with these kind of excuses in my mind that are not guaranteed or genuine, only because of the failure to come here, I think, Mr. Speaker, we will always continue to delay the work of the Liberian people. What do I mean? Like for instance, the LPRC director, she's been here on 2 different occasions. There are other work she be doing at her office that will benefit Liberia. But because of an individual who refused to come, those work are on a standstill. So I think we must act now, or it might be too late for us to act. So as I conclude, let the witness please provide those communications for us to see the time interval of the receiving of those communications and the date in which those communications was written, that the clerk can tell us, then we can make a determination to speak up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, as have been articulated by Honorable Kole, I think in our minds, based on reasonableness, the Honorable Acting Justice Minister cannot say, because of the 2 communications sent to us, he chose only to go to an area and not on time, in a timely fashion, informing us. I think there are many, as he said, mediums through which we can be contacted. And they are expediters, they are agents, they are officers at the Justice Ministry can be sent to carry on this errand. This Justice Ministry is the ministry that serves as a fulcrum of all of what it requires in terms of the law of this country. So it's the same thing as system and procedures. This is within less than 3 miles. Maybe you can say 2 miles between here and the Justice Ministry. So I think it is something that could have happened. But anyway, coming here also, as a matter of courtesy, we should have been informed. Whether again it was an inadvertence, but I thought that the Justice Ministry should have done better. Not to inform us in time, we think it's unacceptable. That's not how to behave. Here we do the people's business, and as such, we cannot be impeded, especially by the Justice Ministry. The issue about going to the Senate, that could be justified because it's an issue of life or death. So it has greater gravity, but we should have been informed. I mean, it's the issue of informing us. We've been here together, and we have been inviting you on several occasions. If others who have that kind of a gap, it should not be the Justice Ministry. Mr. Justice Minister, I think it's left with this body to make the determination. But we thought you faltered, and that's not how to go. Honorable Master.
Mr. Presiding, I must admit, and I'm not saying today's session is more than others, but I must admit that the manner in which these proceedings are going, they are very focused, and in my opinion, it presents a good image of the legislature while exercising due courtesy and respect to our brothers and sisters on the other side of the government. Mr. Presiding, I will say it this way. When the Minister of Justice presented, as the President, I have started telling everybody else, oh, let's let it go until my colleague made these salient points. And when these points are made out of emotion, outside, void of emotion, void of confrontation, but the points are made, it speaks to how our government or our governance should be presented, especially so when we are seated in a public glare. Mr. Presiding, with that said, with a shift of my initial thought, there has to be a way forward, and the presiding has made a case very, very clearly. I like to say this, Mr. Presiding. When these things are done, when the House feels disrespected and present a contempt case, a contempt situation. One thing I'm even observing that the motion last session said that the Minister of Justice should appear with his legal counsel. Just so we observe the due process of law. These are lawyers. It's possible we could take action and we would say I was not giving my constitutional right of due process. Except if in this public hearing he can clearly say and he waive it under the law, it's also permitted. With that said, Mr. Presiding, the rule gave us several options. When you are held in contempt, the House can either decide that you will go to jail, not more than our sitting. In my opinion, I do not think that we should go to that extent, but there has to be a step taken so that others can know that when you appear in the public space before the full plenary of the House, it's not a matter of joke. Well, we conduct ourselves with courtesy, but this is a serious matter. With that said, I want to suggest, or I want to propose, that the Minister of Justice state clearly to us that he will request to appear with his legal counsel who we don't see. If in this public manner he's waiving that so that we can have it on the record. If that is fair, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Justice should be fined $4,999.99 to be deposited in government revenue by tomorrow, and a proof of deposit presented to the House of Representatives through the office of the Honorable Chief Clerk, plus an apology written under his signature and published in 2 local dailies, at least for 1 day. I'm just suggesting. The Speaker has not asked for a motion, so I'm suggesting.
That's not a motion.
It is a suggestion. In my opinion, those are my interventions. First, let us be clear whether there's a legal representation, so that we don't remove his right to a legal counsel, which is due process. And if that is done, I believe the options that are available to us, the option of fine in my mind seems to present our point, but also in a reasonable manner, so that we don't go to the issue of imprisonment, which I think will be extreme. But a fine will indicate to the public and other invitees here in this session and other invitees that when you are invited, particularly to the House of Representatives public, open session, it is an issue of seriousness and we take it very serious. That would be my suggestion. If the speaker can have for a motion, that's fine, but that would be my proposal to my colleagues. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. It's not a suggestion. I mean, it's not a motion. So, would you answer the first question about the representation of legal counsel here?
Mr. Speaker and Mr. Presiding Member of the 54 Legislature, the document that was sent to me is for itself. If you require me to read it verbatim, it does not state anywhere that I need to come with a lawyer. This is the letter, sir.
Okay, thank you. The chief clerk will read the letter. Please read the letter. Please read the letter sent to the Minister of Justice.
So he's acting Minister of Justice there, standing according to him. The Justice Minister is out of country, so he had to represent the Justice Minister, Minister Musa Dean, who was invited and did not come, and he was trying to hold in contempt here for impeding the working of the legislature. Keep following. This is Focus on Liberia. My name is Prince Moba. This is the chambers of the House of Representatives. Keep following.
February 28, 2023. Honorable Frank Musa Day Jr., Minister of Justice, 14th Street, Cinco, Monrovia, Liberia. Dear Honorable Minister, I present compliments and, by directive of the Honorable House of Representatives in session, write to invite your appearance before it on Thursday, March 2, 2023 at 10 a.m. to show cause why you should not be heard in legislative content for not honoring its invitation. Honorable Minister, you were invited on February 24, 2023 to witness or participate in the deliberation concerning the non-compliance posture of petroleum importers Liberia as it relates to the issues surrounding the operation and or implementation of the Act establishing the National Road Fund of 2017. Today, February 28, 2023, at 12 noon, said deliberation could not be held because of your failure to appear, which action has the propensity to impede or obstruct the functions of the House of Representatives. In this regard, you may appear with your counsel. With sentiments of high esteem, I remain sincerely, Major MCL Chief Clerk, the Honorable House of Representatives.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That has a kind of latitude. We cannot say he shall come, but he must come. We say he may come. He chose to be here without a counsel. So, except he wants to have a counsel here, but it's left with him, legal counsel. So the question goes to him. Are you waiving the right to having a counsel here?
Mr. Speaker, I think he has a legal matter in this case. Who has himself as a lawyer, has himself as a lawyer, has himself as a fool, so I would therefore bring a counsel. I would not have a counsel.
Okay.
You like to?
So, do you want to now bring your counsel? Because the decision was yours to take, and you had a letter for that implementation of that site to be exercised.
Information to the speaker.
I'm asking him.
Okay, I will my right now.
Please allow me squad. Okay, so it is right, and he exercised that right. Yeah, so
wait for our speaker.
Honorable Jones.
I mean, that's the thing we wait for.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Co-Presiding Police. Mr. Speaker, let me say thanks to my police who have spoken on this matter before me, especially our Clarence Massacre from Lopa County, proffering his subjection regarding the matter of bar. Mr. Speaker, having listened to our witness who appeared before us to discuss the Liberian people issue, Mr. Speaker, for way forward, I think I will want the witness having waived his right to a counsel in keeping with our laws, that he deposit the amount of $4,999.99 as was proffered by my colleague from Lopa County, so that he can serve as deterrent not only to him, but will be individuals who will also want to second the law or the rules of this house. And that amount should be deposited not later than tomorrow with a copy or receipt be presented to the Secretary of this house and to be presented to this body. And with that being said, Honorable Speaker, I think we can set that the representative from the Ministry of Justice present to this body so that we can discuss the Liberian people issue.
yeah, so then we can have a motion.
Faster during populated county.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a co-presiding distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, let me interject and suggest, Mr. Speaker, that we move forward. And I'd like to appeal to my distinguished colleagues that I know that we're under pressure and responsible to our constituents, and that the constituents do expect us to represent them. We run, Mr. Speaker, of government with coordinations, and where there are frailties with respect to the executive branch of government, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to appeal to the distinguished colleague that the Minister of Justice, having expressed the various incidences or circumstances that led to his not coming to our call, in the interest of moving forward, I would appeal that we have Minister
Information.
more information to the former Minister of Education. I just want to qualify the kind of. Okay, the honorable gentleman from Grand Julia County, my information is, in the first place, the man trying to appeal on his behalf, I place on the defensive. You can never tell me that you will receive a letter and read without redeeming the content of that communication. He stood in the public gallery and said that there is nothing that says that you should come along with a lawyer. And have been proven. So my information is he already put on challenge. Because he took oath and he provided information that is not factual. And he has been authenticated that the information he provided is from truth, on a oath.
Information not on the speaker. With due respect to my distinguished colleague from NEMA, my appeal is let us make progress. No, we're making progress. I don't mean to sound offensive, Mr. Speaker. My suggestion, Mr. Speaker, is that we've heard the excuses from the Minister of Justice, and that if it's the will of the plenary, I see the colleagues are prepared to go the extreme in terms of the detention and offering and that's the extreme. So Mr. Speaker, I have the floor, Mr. Speaker.
Protect him, please.
I have.
You have to be having your seat and you put it for recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Speaker, having sensed the contention on the floor, Mr. Speaker, and let's move on. Let's conclude.
So we continue a motion from Honorable Albert Jones.
Yeah, that will be a perfect motion.
Albert Jones.
The speaker, long name the speaker. No projection for the year.
Mr. Speaker, co-presiding colleagues, having discussed the issue substantively, I move, if I may obtain a second, that the Ministry of Justice, particularly the Minister, be made to deposit the amount of $4,999.99 to government revenue, and a copy of the receipt of the deposit be made available to the Chief Clerk Office not later than Tuesday, if I may obtain a second.
Distinguished honorable colleagues, we've not restated that motion. Are you ready to vote?
Already.
Honorable Masakwa.
Mr. President, I early on made a suggestion about the publication, but we want to be as calm as possible, so that session was removed, and I perfectly accept that. Except that I will be ready to vote if the deposit can be made not later than tomorrow, Friday, and the receipt presented to the office of the chief clerk not later than Monday. And the chief clerk obviously will report to this plenary on Tuesday. There should be a proof that that deposit was done on Friday. Friday being tomorrow. Friday being tomorrow, March 3rd, 2023. Deposit be made on March 3, 2023, and the deposit slip presented on or before Monday to the office of the chief clerk, who on Tuesday will make a full report to this plenary. I will also be ready to vote if upon the presentation of that receipt, the contempt charge without coming to session should be deemed removed.
Already. With that said, I'm ready to vote. Already. Honorable Colette.
I only saw. Bona is here.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, co-presiding, distinguished colleague, I will be ready to vote if the movement can accept my simple amendment. And the amendment is failure on the part of the witness to comply. Failure on the part of the witness. Failure on the part of the witness to comply with what has been said. This witness should spend a night behind the rusty bar of Sawfish. Mr. Movement, there is no law to say you can apprehend. We got to be ready in a time of peace to be ready for war. You don't tell what will be the next course of action. I'm not apprehending anything, but I'm just looking at the probability if the witness does not comply with the instruction of this plenary. We may not have the luxury of time to reconvene to take another decision. My good friend and brother from Magidi County, who represents District 2 and Lewa, myself, District 2, please respectfully accept. We have always done things in common. Magidi 2 is born 2.
Because we cannot preempt, so we just.
Good. That's it.
Ready.
Yeah. Again. Thank you.
All right, so plenary had taken a decision to find the Justice Ministry through its representation here $4,499.99 Liberian dollars, and then that money should be deposited in government's account. The receipt are submitted to the plenary of the House. So that the contempt charge will be dropped upon paying the money to government's account.
So basically, honorable colleagues, so we will now ask